2 years ago, I started telling people that SDRs were dying. GTM engineers were replacing them. And I was right. We've built those systems ourselves at TC9. The repetitive work SDRs were doing every day got automated by better workflows and tools. But I got the reason wrong. It was never the role that died, it was the tasks. The boring, repetitive task got automated and the role evolved. And now I'm watching the exact same thing happening to GTM engineers. Clicking in Clay, maintaining workflows, copy and pasting between tools, these are also repetitive tasks, and AI agents can do that now. So if you are a GTM engineer or you hired one, this video is about what actually makes the role valuable moving forward and what doesn't anymore. Okay, let me give you some context. About 3 years ago, Clay basically invented the GTM engineer role. Before that, if you wanted to create prospecting lists, you had a sales rep manually going through LinkedIn, copying data into a spreadsheet, and reaching the contacts one by one. And that was the best case scenario if they weren't doing spray and pray. So it was slow, it was painful, probably the mission for juniors in the team, and it took forever. And what Clay was trying to build took another dimension when ChatGPT first released at the end of 2022, making this automation spreadsheet intelligent. From there, we could automate the boring and tedious task made by sales reps previously and 10x the output. And the GTM engineer was born. And of course, it made sense, and as LLMs progressed, Clay's relevance kept growing, as well as the GTM engineer role that became really trendy in B2B up to today, where it's basically part of the norm. And even legacy companies start hiring GTM engineers. So of course the narrative followed. SDRs are dying, GTM engineers are the future. I said it, Clay said it, probably half of LinkedIn said it. But here is the thing nobody talked about. A big part of what a GTM engineer does is also repetitive. So yeah, you're in Clay, clicking through columns, setting up enrichment waterfalls, fixing formulas, making sure the API is the right one, etc, etc. You're clicking a lot of buttons in there. And of course that's skilled work and it requires understanding of Clay and other tools, but a lot of it is still clicking buttons, copy and pasting things, and maintaining the system. So if we zoom out a little, that's a higher skill version of the same pattern that killed SDR workload. And now with tools like Claude Code, using MCP and API or CLI, agents can actually interact with those tools programmatically. So those tasks are getting automated too. Let me be specific about what's shifting. When Claude Code launched at the end of 2025, something changed. By being able to code using natural language, we can now create workflows without using any UI, as long as the tools that you want to connect together have APIs or MCP or even CLI. So agents can skip the interface and the friction that comes with it, just execute and build the workflows for you. Of course, today, Claude Code will always be relying on what MCPs and APIs allow, even if you can be a bit smarter and find ways using clicking capacities from those tools. But we can already see a strong trend going in that direction, where the winning tools are not going to build SaaS for humans, but AI-first tools using terminal commands and open API. And with that in mind, everything that took hours clicking button into Clay or similar tools can now be done programmatically by agents in a few minutes or a few hours. So of course, GTM engineers are suffering from the comparison. Now, I'm not saying that it replaces everything a GTM engineer does. Of course not, but it replaces the operational layer, similarly to what happened to SDRs a few years ago. And this building and maintaining part of the job of a GTM engineer is easily taking them 70, if not 80% of their time in a week. And this is not just theory. At TC9, we were planning to hire GTM engineers during the first quarter of 2026 because we needed to scale our workflow capacity. But before pulling the trigger on those hirings, and with the rise of Claude Code, we decided to try and automate the operational GTM work with agents. And now our plan has changed. Instead of growing a team of GTM engineers, we are looking for one top GTM engineer, a person with different types of skill, like deep understanding of business, and who can pilot our agents and design our systems. And I think that's the model we are heading towards, at least in B2B. It doesn't make sense to hire people to click buttons when automations or agents can do it better, faster, and cheaper. And the people that are remaining will be focusing on strategy and making making decisions. Of course, this is not happening overnight. Similarly to what happened to SDRs, the role still exists, but more and more businesses are hiring GTM engineers to replace those boring tasks so SDRs can focus on something else. And of course, this is not just happening to SDRs or GTM engineers, it's happening to every role in any organizations. But here we focus on revenue teams. I made a video about Alex Hormozy's take on AI agents where I broke down this exact principle. If you haven't seen it, I will link it somewhere in the video so you can have a look at this one too. But in short, the roles don't die really. They evolve, and the tasks that are inside those roles are getting redistributed between humans, tools, and agents. So now, if an AI agent can build workflows, maintain them, handle the operational side of things, what's left for GTM engineers? Everything that matters. I know that sounds like a cliche, and I've been told that already when I was talking about SDRs dying, but that's real. At least for now, an AI agent can't sit down in a room with a VP sales and understand that the real problem isn't lead volume, but it's that nobody knows how to define what a good lead looks like. An agent can build a workflow, but it can't really figure out without a human that you actually need one in the first place. An AI agent won't decide to reallocate your resources from one channel to another. That's your strategy. Of course, you can use AI to help you make this decision, but humans are the ones making it. Here is what I've learned building GTM engines for almost 2.5 years now. The hardest part is never the tools. It's knowing what to build, what to prioritize, understanding the business well enough to build the right system and refine it with time and iteration, choosing the right signals, defining the right scoring criteria, etc., etc. Knowing when a workflow should be simple and when it should be sophisticated. That's business understanding. And that's exactly what can't be automated, or maybe shouldn't be automated. The GTM engineers who are going to thrive in the next 2 years are the ones who will spend time building their real understanding of business, of how revenue works, how buyer journeys actually flow. And that's actually why TC9 is a GTM consultancy company, not just an agency that executes workflows. GTM engineers who are in trouble are the ones who just know how to click buttons and build the workflows in Clay or this type of tools, because that's the kind of knowledge that will depreciate very fast with AI. Actually, the more the time passes, the less tool knowledge will matter. I can easily picture a world when I will describe what I want to an AI tool and it will figure it out no matter what's happening behind the scene. It's already almost the case. But the value will always come from what you do with these tools and your understanding of what you're trying to achieve. That's my point here in this video. And when I look to what I was saying 6 months ago compared to today, I can realize how fast it's going, and this current video might even be obsolete in the next 2 months. So if you're a GTM engineer right now, or if you're a founder who hired one, here is what I'd focus on. First, stop finding your value based on the tools, even complicated ones. It's not really a career strategy, in my opinion, but understanding how GTM engines work can be. Second, focus on the parts of your work that agent can't touch. Sit closer to business. The more business context you have, the more valuable your technical work becomes, because you're not just building workflows, you're building the right workflows. Third, learn about AI agents themselves. They need someone to pilot them and guide them. This is your leverage. A GTM engineer who can make the right decisions and execute them 10 times faster is definitely valuable. And that's definitely our take at TC9. And companies need that, and they will continue to need it. Everybody in B2B needs to adopt those AI agents to stay competitive. So similarly to SDRs, we still need GTM engineers, but just a different version of them. So that's what I got wrong 2 years ago. SDRs weren't dying, but some boring tasks in their job have been replaced. And now the same thing happens to GTM engineers, but in both cases, what survives is the same thing: expertise. The tools will keep changing, the agents will become better and better, but we still need someone in charge. If you're a GTM engineer wondering how to make the shift, or a founder or a revenue team leader rethinking your GTM team structure, drop a comment, ask your questions, and I will read them all. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.